For this instructional video, I'm going to show you how to use your fill and your stroke and also use the brushes tool. So for these I have just basic shapes. Click on your shape with the selection tool, the black arrow, and then here's your stroke, and then you can change it with the swatches panel over here. Swatches, it shows you colors. So when you want to change your stroke, just switch the color, and I know some of you might already know this. But for your stroke, this stroke panel, say you want to make it thicker, you just change the weight. So say I want to do 7. Okay, you see how that goes? It makes it thicker. What happens if I want rounded corners? You just look at the cap, or the cap is going to be an end point. The corner is where you see how it says a miter joint. This one's a round joint. So once you click that, it rounds off your edges. This can be used for anything, any trace you do, anything that you're doing with line. And if we try the miter or the bevel joint, it just puts a little bevel to it. So those are a few things that you can do with stroke. You can change the weight. I'll show you what it looks like if you just do a line. Okay, so for this line, if you want a rounded cap, you hit that one and you can see what it looks like. See that? And then these two are just that it's a butt cap, and this one is a projecting cap, meaning that the cap goes beyond the anchor points. That's all it does. Okay, it's still going to be flat. Okay, so now after that, we're going to do fill. Is basically, make sure you see, click on that for fill. Then you can change it to whatever you want. That's self-explanatory. If you want to do a different fill, say you like that color but you want it more transparent, go to your transparency setting and click on your, here, let's move this up. Click on your opacity. I'm going to move this out of the way. And set it to 50. It's going to change your entire shape. But if you do that and you move this, I moved it behind it, you can still see what's behind the star, or behind the square. You can see the star behind the square. So that's opacity with fill. See, if you change it to 100, you can't see the star. If you go back here, change it to 50, you can see it. Okay, so that's with some fills with opacity. Now I'm going to talk to you about strokes and brushes. So here's the stroke. We have it at 1 point. I have my circle. I'm going to click on this brushes panel. See, there's different brushes already. This is like charcoal. So if you click on it, it's going to make your line look like a charcoal line. But there are so many more that you can use. So what you do is you click on this and then go to Open Brush Library, and all of these different ones. There's arrows that are already done for you. Look, you don't even have to make an arrow. Okay, see? I'm going to exit out of that one. Whatever brush panel you click on, it'll show up in your brushes panel. So Open Brush Library. I like the artistic ones. I guess it's calligraphic. This is going to do it how a calligraphy pen would do. So the bigger the area, And then if it's slanted like this, it's going to look a little bit different. So just test them out, see how they look. I like, for doing backgrounds, I like the scroll pen. See how this looks? Um, that one. Dotted. See? There's so many different brushes you can use. So go to the brush library, play around with that. Paintbrush is kind of cool too. Some of these are a little bit faded. See, this is more like a dry brush. If you use the watercolor ones, they're going to be a lot more faded than, let's see, artistic watercolor. It's going to have an opacity to it already. See how the color is black, the stroke is black, but it looks gray. Um, so be careful when using the watercolor one. It's going to look washed out unless you want that look. Okay, so that is a little bit about strokes, fills with opacity, and using the brush tool.